everyone, welcome back to It's Messy, but It's So Good. I'm your host, Fran Medina. And if you love stories about expansion, growth, courage, purpose, and transformation, you're in the right spot. Today, my guest is Shannon Warner. And Shannon is a podcast producer and founder of Resonant Collective. And that's where she supports women in motherhood, midlife, and transition to share their voices in sustainability. She's also the host of Speak Mother, which is a podcast that has been reinvented to support exploring motherhood and burnout and identity crisis and just exhaustion. All the things that happen when you're a mom and you have all these other things going on. So if you're interested in podcasting, if it sparks like something inside of you that says, that sounds like something I might want to find more information out about, tune in. And if you're a mom and you're trying to find a way to connect to yourself while being a mom and how you can be supported, this is the episode for you. So press play and we'll see you soon. Enjoy the show. Welcome everyone to It's Messy, but It's So Good. And welcome Shannon Warner, my guest today.
Hi, Fran. I'm so happy to be here with you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. And I met Shannon back, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago at this point in a podcasting class, because we both had a wish to learn more about podcasting and do podcasting. And we're going to talk all about that. And we're going to talk about Shannon's amazing business. She's an entrepreneur and she's going to explain her journey, but it's called Resonant Collective. And she's going to share a lot about, the transition from all the different stages in her life and the inspiration. So I would love to hear all about your passion journey, Shannon.
Thanks, Fran. I have had quite the journey, which has surprised and delighted me along the way. Sometimes it's a little less on the delight and a little heavier on the surprise. But I thought I was just going to be like the one and done, choose the career, settle in, and just ride it out for the long haul. And that was absolutely not the case. And being the like honor roll, gold star, good girl, kind of mission and service oriented girl that I was at the time, I went into education and I was like, I loved school. I'll be a great teacher. And that was true. I was great in school and I was a great teacher. But I think my need to prove myself over and over again was great for my students and great for my school. It was not great for me. And I burned myself right out in the middle of my 5th year. I was an elementary school teacher and I became the statistic. And I never thought I would become the statistic, but I remember I had a very long commute to school and I would call my mom or dad or a friend on a ride there and back. That was my connection time. And, my dad, one of these days, he was like, this job is going to kill you. He's like, you've got to stop. And I was like, what? What do you mean it's going to kill me? I have 2 degrees and I'm checking all the boxes and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And it just came to a head and it was like, I can't do this anymore. And I didn't quite understand or trust divine timing at that point. I wasn't as young as I'd like to think. I was in mid to late 20s at that point, but an opportunity fell in my lap that allowed me to exit right at Christmas break. And it broke my heart to have to leave my students in the middle of the year. Oh, so much guilt and just shame. And I just felt so badly about it and then about myself as well. But I knew I was doing a disservice to them if I stayed that they weren't getting what they deserved out of a teacher if I stayed. So I took this other opportunity, found out very quickly that teachers do have a lot of transferable skills. And I landed in an operations role at a creative company, which was cool in a lot of ways. Um, and looking back now, I look around at that environment. I'm like, wow, everyone's so creative. I don't have that because I'm surrounded by artists and product developers and people with these visions and people who could turn customer concepts into, tangible art. It was very cool. But I was like, I don't have that. It took me into my late 30s to realize that I am actually creative. But
Yeah.
uh, it was an experience, and I grappled with my identity a lot during that time because I was like, if I'm not a teacher, who am I? And all
Yeah.
of the guilt around, having left a profession that I got not one but two degrees in, and the student debt and all the, like, oh, I had so much sunk cost in that. So I removed that part of my identity. Who am I? Okay, maybe this will just be a bridge roll. That's fine. And then I had my daughter. And then there was another layer of like, oh my gosh, who am I and what am I doing? And then if I'm not obsessed with the work that I'm doing, does it make sense that I'm dropping her off at daycare every day to go do work? That's just okay. So much just like inner turmoil of like, who am I? What do I want to do? Um, for my woo-woo friends out there, you'll understand. I learned that in my astrology, my North Node is in my 10th house, and apparently that makes me incredibly career oriented. So I look at other people who are just like, I show up Monday to Friday. This job is fine. I don't mind. I pay the bills. I go home. It's fine if I don't love it. And I'm like, you what? What do you mean? What do you mean you're okay just sitting in this job that you don't love all the time? What? That doesn't sit well with me. So you layer all of these pieces in. It makes for a tumultuous life to have to live, you know, 8 to 5 every day, 5 days a week,
Yeah.
and then to mother on top of it. So there was a lot of just identity confusion. And I think a lot of it is because I allowed other people to assign my traits to me. Oh, Shannon, you're a good
Mm.
student, gold star, you're reliable, you're dependable, we trust you, you're so selfless. So I started wearing those as badges of honor. And then I realized through life events and a layoff from that company that like none of that matters.
Oh, so you got laid off from that
I
company.
did get laid off from that company after 8 years, which is especially in that business and at that company, that was a very long time.
Mm.
And um, interesting story. I knew it was time to be done with that job. It had been time to be done for a while, but it did hold us. My husband worked there too. We were
Oh,
married already, but we worked together. He had left a year prior. But so it was an interesting dynamic to be kind of tied up in with that company. But it had held me through my first daughter being born, my second daughter being born, my dad passing. So it was fine for what it was.
mm-hmm.
I knew I was ready to be done. And I wrote in my journal on the morning of, it was a little almost 3 years ago now. I think it was February 18th. The date escapes me, but I think it was February 18th. I was like, I will be done with this position by my birthday in June. Fran,
Mm.
that afternoon, I got laid off out of the blue, completely blindsided. And I realize now, like, oh my gosh, what a gift that was. What a gift that was that God, universe, source was like, she's ready. It's go time. Because I don't always move that well on my own. Sometimes I need a push. And that was the
Sure.
push.
Mm-hmm.
And after that became, and thankfully I was in the Kathy Heller program. I think it was Abundant Ever After, where I learned so much about myself. And that was a beautiful, soft place to land. And I got to
Mm-hmm.
begin to untangle these pieces of my identity that weren't actually me and learn that my value is inherent and I don't have to prove anything. And, when you get your income ripped away from you and your title ripped away from you, you realize, well, if you allow yourself to sit with it and do the work, as they say, like that's not me. Those are roles, and my value is not tied to that title, to that position, to my income, but easier, said on the other side. It was a journey to go through that for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, because we're unraveling our whole life
Yes.
um, programming.
Yes. Yes.
And it takes a minute, and it's always ongoing, really, I find too,
Yes.
um, to check in with how much is this external validation and how much is it this coming from my heart and my soul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely right.
Hmm.
Absolutely right. It is a journey. And like you said, it does continue. But now I can sit with it and move through it and go, okay, like I'm turning 40 this year, which I'm excited about. I'm like, oh, I know things now. I know I have a lot to learn, but I'm like, oh, I know things. And I'm comforted by my own innate knowing and my own wisdom and my own experience at that point to be like, okay, things are going to happen, and we can just move through it, and we can decide how we move through it and who we're going to be as we move through it. So, the journey continues to unfold, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. So can you share a little bit about your business? Because it's so unique. I don't know anybody else that has business like you have, so I'd love to hear more about it.
Thank you. So the podcast realm for me kind of happened on accident. It was in that Kathy course, the Abundant Ever After course, that one of the weeks she challenged us to go through the motions of setting up a podcast to see what you would bump up against.
Mm,
Be and for me, as someone who was like, I just won't say anything. I won't speak up. Like, it's fine. I won't, I don't want to ruffle any feathers because I don't like confrontation, blah, 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 So like, to go through the motions of setting up a podcast, just what would you say? Who would you say it to? What's the mission behind it? And there was no pressure to actually start the podcast, but I went through that week doing the activities. And at the end, I was like, I think I have something here. And I really want to talk to moms who might be in the same space of like, I'm still somebody behind my title and underneath the spit up. And,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still me, and I'm
And
still
the
having
exhaustion.
so much exhaustion, so much exhaustion, such mental load. So I was like, I think I have something here, and I think people will resonate with it. So I started my own podcast called Having a Mom Moment in 2023. And Fran was a guest on my podcast, and our relationship has just bloomed since then. But um, it was really kind of, I don't know if I want to say on accident, but just kind of following the nudges, follow and follow and follow and follow. And then inside one of the communities we were a part of that spurred off of Kathy Heller's program, I don't know, she's got so many things going on. I don't know where it was now, but somebody posted that they were looking for help, and I was still laid off. So I was like trying to make the business work, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I happened to see this post of someone looking for help with their podcast, and I read it and I was like, I think I could do that. And I kind of forgot about it. And the next morning, I woke up with the picture in my mind that she had posted, and I heard message her. And I was like, okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
So I did, and we connected, and we've been working together for over 2 years now. But that
Mm,
really started everything. And it wasn't linear. I did end up going back to a corporate job. I had a couple of clients while juggling the corporate job. And it came to a point earlier in 2025 where I really had to choose. Was I going to
mm.
choose the comfort and stability and the benefits of a corporate position that was slowly sucking the life and joy out of me?
Yeah.
Or was I going to choose me? And I think I was given that opportunity to actually make that choice for myself. Being laid off didn't settle well with me because I feel like I wasn't really given the choice to actually decide. So being able to stand in my own power and being like, I have two options here. And one is safety, and one is really exciting and life-giving. And I chose that. So I've been doing it full time since June of 2025. And I help women launch and maintain podcast, soul-led female entrepreneurs, women with something to say. And it has been so much fun. I love podcasts. I love podcasting, being a guest on podcasts. I love having my own podcast. So to be able to just sit down and listen to podcasts all day is I have these moments I'm like, what is my life right now? And it's been so fabulous and so fun. And I'm just so grateful that these, kind of pebbles were placed in my path, but also that some divine guidance kind of nudged me along and gave me the courage to, pick up the pebble and look at the pebble and decide, do I want to keep this one? Yeah, that one,
Yeah.
that one sounds
Yeah.
fun.
A lot of courage. And that's what I imagine you um, try to instill and work with your clients to really provide that courage. It does take a courage to press publish.
It does.
Especially the first time. I remember the first time I did it and I pressed publish and I went, okay. A lot of perfectionism comes up and all the things, and but aren't these all gifts for us to just look at what is coming up in us and how to learn to love ourselves more, really. The
Mm,
bottom line, that's what I see for anyone out there that is embarking on something that really feels really connected to your soul and, inspiring. Yeah, it's scary. It's scary to go forward. But it helps when you have support.
it does.
It really does, and I think it's often very necessary because we can be very isolating, and then our monkey mind takes over and all of that. So you also help with the technology, correct? I mean, because I think what people get overwhelmed with is not only, okay, what is my voice? What is it that I want to say? But how do I do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, talk about a little bit, of some of the services that you offer within your business.
Yeah. So launching is a part of what we do. And I'll say we because I do have a small team that I am so grateful for their support. And their being here helps me continue to grow and expand and support other women because I I think we're in a time where women are kind of waking up. We're coming home to ourselves. We're coming home to our voices, and we need each other more than ever. And we need each other to share their truths and their stories more than ever. If you look back, at centuries past, we lived in community and we had, there was the woman who was the midwife and there was the woman who was the priestess or the shaman or the woman who helped teach and every women were in community and women shared stories and shared knowledge. And we've kind of been isolated by the way that we now live our lives in modern America. So just the science tangent to say that we need each other, and podcasting is such a beautiful way to land in the hearts and the minds of someone you may never actually meet. But if you feel called, like you have a message, you do. It was placed on you for a reason, and it needs to come out. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but yes, even when people or women believe in that, they still get tripped up by, like you said, the mindset piece of it. And even and they get over that, then they're like, oh, how do I edit it? Where do I put it? How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I promote it? All of these things. So that's what we do. Our Resonant Collective will help you edit your episodes. And I will say, especially with women and these conversations, a lot of the episodes that we receive are conversations. Our edit is light because we want it to be as true and as close to being in the room with the women as possible. Um,
Mhm.
so we are very mindful about the way that we edit, and then we'll publish your episodes for you because a lot of women just get hung up on the publish, like you
Yep.
said, like I did it. Now I have to put it out there. You don't. I'll publish it for you and you don't have to worry about it. And then we help with promotion and social media clips to help promote your episodes because that's another piece is you've done the work, you've published it, and now you have to talk about it because we, as much as we can want to just like put it out there and be like, whoever's meant to find it will find it. I mean, maybe they will, but it will definitely help if you talk about it.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
absolutely, absolutely. And
So,
not to focus so much on marketing, also, but to like, how does your story relate to your guest story, or even like if it's a solo podcast, going deep with, being vulnerable, really. And it's something that is not, we're not used to that.
right,
I mean,
right.
maybe in one-on-one conversations, but blasting it out to thousands of people is a whole nother story.
Yeah. Well, and I just want to add to what you said about the nervousness of putting things out and the vulnerability behind it. There's one of my clients has put over 260 episodes out, and there are still times where she will reach out to me and be like, I don't know if I should have said this.
Mm,
Can you listen and tell me, like, you know me, like, what do you, and I'm like, so we all get in our heads about it. I
absolutely.
have another client who's a medium.
Yeah.
And I believe in medium, so if you don't, that's fine. But I'm like, you're receiving divine guidance and you get trapped up in your own junk, we'll call it. So um it's fascinating that we all do it, and no one is thinking about us as much as we're thinking about ourselves. Like, if it doesn't align with somebody, most people are going to be like, okay, maybe this podcast isn't for me next. Or
Yeah.
like, we are all so wrapped up in our own stories, and people are not. They are
Yeah.
not, especially at the rate that media moves in this day and age. They're just like, next, next,
Exactly.
next. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
And you also are relaunching or relaunched your new podcast.
Yes.
Can you share a
Yes.
little bit about that? Because I think it's so needed.
Yes. I saw a quote somewhere and it hit me. It was like something to the effect of, the thing that you're scared to do is the thing that you need to do. So over a year ago now, it was November of 2024. I had two clients, a full-time job, two children, and my own podcast. And I was like, I have to set something down. And I loved my podcast, Having a Mom Moment. I had such amazing conversations, had beautiful feedback. Very, very happy with it. And I had to set it down, and I knew something needed to change, but I wasn't quite sure what it was. And I think I had to go back through corporate as a working mom, like trying to do these things and then having the contrast of work that's really beautiful and amazing. And then having this other work where I felt like I couldn't be my full self. I couldn't express myself. I certainly couldn't say some of the things that I wanted to say on my podcast because job security, who's going to
Yeah.
hear it? Who's going to say it? The kinds of things I wanted to say, I didn't think would have landed well with my colleagues. So I sat with it for a long, long time, a long time. And then in the fall, I was like, I'm ready. I am ready. And it still took me until this week. It's mid-January at the time of recording. It still took me till now, today, to launch the podcast. It's been relaunched as Speak Mother. And before, it was really like, I want to reconnect women, you know, to themselves in the midst of motherhood and all the things. And we were talking about meditation and ways to take care of yourself. And yes, that is all so important. This time, we're talking about why you feel so burned out, and blatantly we're just not in a structure, a system that was set up to support us as mothers, especially working
Yes.
mothers. The patriarchy is the patriarchy, and you can have your own thoughts and feelings about it, but it is not easy to be a woman with your own dreams and goals and aspirations while mothering in this culture. The safety net isn't there. We don't have our village like we used to. You have to be very deliberate about building your village. We've got social constructs that are oppressing. We're currently diving into, I'm doing a multi-part series. It's called The Seven Deadly Sins and the Price Women Pay to Be Good. It's a book by Elise Lonin, and
Mm.
it has completely opened my eyes of all of these like good girl things that we're trying to do. Like, oh, if I do this, will I still be good? And it's
To be accepted, you know,
right.
by, the world.
Well, that's our safety, right? Our sense of safety is tied to being accepted. In your
Mhm.
animal brain, that's literally, like, oh, if I'm
Mhm.
ousted, I will die out here on the
Mhm.
savannah alone, right? So,
Mhm. Mhm.
the ways that we kind of oppress ourselves and the ways we kind of oppress other women, because we're all like, no, 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 here's the line. We must all toe the line.
Yeah.
And that kind of jump started this podcast needs to come back and we need to talk about this. And how are we going to move through it? How are we going to move through it together? How can we support one another? And how can we take care of ourselves in light of just everything that's going on in the world, and also everything that's going on in our homes and our
Yeah.
communities?
Absolutely. Is there one little pearl that you can share? Maybe a perspective, a tool, a practice from your podcast or from your own life. Actually, it's come from your own life and your own experience with the audience so that maybe they can just, reflect on that. And it will inspire them to tune into your podcast because there are a lot of women out there that feel very isolated in motherhood. Yes, in society, but especially as moms, because we feel like we just have to be so perfect and we have all these other pressures and wear all these other hats. So what has been one of the biggest, impacts for you?
Mm, community of like-minded women. I have more friends in the last 3 years after coming out of Kathy Heller's program that I've not, well, was it 3 years? Yeah, almost 3 years ago, um, that I've not met in person that I cannot wait to hug someday, like you, Fran, because it's such a beautiful space where you can show up to be yourself and you meet these other women who are just like, yeah, I see your vision. How can I
Mhm.
support you? I'm cheering you on. I love this. I love you. Oh, have you thought about this? And helping you brainstorm and mastermind and all of these things. I wanted to say meditation first. Meditation is very important and very beneficial, but I think having this community of like-minded women that I have curated over the past few years has been the absolute game changer for me. They reflect things to me that I can't see about myself. And
Yeah.
it's such a gift when someone's like, Shannon, did you know this? Do you know that this comes naturally to you, that you show up in every, meeting in this way? I'm like, no, doesn't everybody do that? So to have, what do they say? To read the label from outside of the bottle, right? You can't read your own label from inside of the bottle. So to have someone read your label for you,
Yeah, mirror.
mirror it for you is just
Mhm.
so beneficial. And I know building community locally, I understand we moved to this area from out of state 4 years ago. So building a community like in your physical environment can be challenging, but if you can get yourself into groups through the gift of the internet where women are doing the things that you want to be doing. So if it's podcasting or if it's something else, whatever it is, get in those communities of like-minded women and it is so powerful. And I really think we're all better together.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And I agree 100%. I mean, in my life, just the idea of podcasting itself and sharing people's stories and sharing our own story. We're building community in places that we don't even realize and just trusting that that's going out and sharing just people's stories and passion builds helps to build and helps other women with their visions. And it's a really, and I think about, like, right now I've done about, I think, 43 episodes. And I reflected a lot about that, towards the end of the year. It's been 2 years. And I mean, I've gotten to know so many people on a different level because, and even if I don't hang out with them, that's okay.
Right.
But their story, and I think when people tell their story, it gives them an opportunity to reflect and really see themselves.
Mhm.
And maybe they didn't take the time, maybe they don't take the time to do that. Maybe they don't have a practice where they do that. And it's just a beautiful thing to be able to deepen that. And it gives you something beautiful, so it's really cool podcasting. Anybody out there that wants to learn, Shannon is your girl.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I would love to cheerlead anyone. I love to cheerlead. That's like my favorite thing. What are you doing? Tell me all about it. Oh my gosh, I love that. How can I support you? Oh, I know this person. This I love to do that. Um, I wanted to just add on to what you said there for a moment about, giving the person a space. How often is someone given, a 30 to 45-minute platform just to talk about themselves until unless you're a chronic like podcast guest, but most, like, wow, like you just want me to talk about myself for 45 minutes? Okay. All right. And I found through that, like, I really got to refine my own message and like what I really believe. And you think things, but then when you hear it come out of your mouth, you're like, huh, interesting.
Exactly.
Or is that actually what I believe? Or am I just repeating something that I've
Hmm.
been had assigned to me, that maybe I don't actually align with? So it's so great at helping refine your own message. And that's been a huge gift for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
And yeah.
So you kind of went over this, but I always ask my guests, what is the greatest gift that you have received through really creating um, your business and your podcast? We've kind of been touching on that all along, but I know there might be multiple gifts, but if you could think of what comes to your heart, and your soul as the greatest personal gift you've received.
I'm gonna try not to cry.
It's okay if you cry.
I know. I feel like when I'm doing this work, I feel like I'm doing something so important. And even when I was young, I was like, I'm going to do something so important. I'm going to do something so important. And I thought, okay, educating children is important, right? And then I got in the classroom and I'm like, I could feel myself needing to be bigger. Like
Mhm.
I need to impact more than this handful of students. Yes, this is important, but I felt like I was built for more. And I never knew how that was going to manifest. And through following the nudges and landing here and helping women coming home to their own voices and their own message, where they felt silenced in their own families and their careers and their marriages, and knowing like we've all got really important things to say, and helping women birth that and get it out in the world is so important, and that is such a gift. And I have two little girls, and that has framed everything for me in such a different light. Like, of course, we do things for our kids, and I'm doing this very much for me, but I think about they get to watch me follow something I'm so passionate about, and they get to grow up to know not only will their mom and dad support them in following their true passions, whatever it looks like, however the journey zigs and zags, like we've got them and we're so happy for them to explore whatever it is that lights them up. But also that I'm creating safe spaces or helping to create safe spaces for women to speak up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. And what you're sharing about your kids, I don't think that women often give themselves enough. I don't know if the word credit is right, but they don't acknowledge the influence that they have on their children.
Yeah.
And just being on a journey of always kind of seeing like, do I belong here or do I belong there? And this really influences our children tremendously. And it might not resonate with them in terms of their future. Who knows? Maybe they'll, just find something and that's it. And but they have now the permission to keep expanding in a way that's calling them.
Yeah.
And I see that with like things that I didn't realize was impacting my kids who are adults, and I wasn't giving myself enough acknowledgement, and that in itself is enough.
Mm.
Just I mean, you're having an amazing influence on these beings.
Yeah.
And that's all you ever wanted really as a mother is to nurture
Mm-hmm.
your
Mm-hmm.
children and give them a sense of self-esteem and love and acceptance, so it naturally just happens as you expand yourself. So
I want to add to that too, because we are in times that are divisive. If
mhm,
we can remember that other mothers, we all want the same thing, right? No matter what party we align with or don't align with, like at the end of
mhm,
the day, like we all want the same thing. And I'm going to get emotional again, but it's just, I really believe in my heart that mothers can heal the world, but we've got to
mhm,
come together. We've got to stop looking at the ways that we're different and really start with, at the end of the day, we want a bright future for our beautiful children, right? We want kind
yeah,
humans, and we want them to have all the opportunities. And if we can start there, I think we can rebuild a really supportive, beautiful, impactful community that can change the
mm,
world.
mm. It's so beautiful, and it starts one person at a time, doing your own work and having faith that that it does go out there into the universe
Yes.
and keep going. So Well, I'm going to have all your contact information, your new podcast, Speak Mother, your website, which is in construction, but it's okay. It'll be ready at some point,
Yes.
and your Instagram and what else do you want to, what are the other medias that you use where people could reach you?
Yep. So I'm on Instagram. I'm most active over there at Resonant Collective. I'm also dipping back into LinkedIn. If that's more your
Mhm.
mode, you can find me there as well. And then the podcast really is where I would love, if you're a mother and you're looking for a place to land, we would love to have you there. And I would love to hear your feedback where you are in your own journey and what's resonating with you. So Speak Mother is available on all of the podcast platforms.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Shannon. Um, what you're providing is really a beautiful service, really, for all of us, particularly for women. And I really want to thank you for doing that and for being courageous enough to keep going. Um, and I know that being in community, was so much a part of that. And but really it is a solo journey in many, many ways. So it's really just sometimes we just need that break, to reflect, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And just kind of regather, okay, because we change as we go through life, different stages, and our purpose can change,
Yes.
and that's okay as long as, we're feeling compassionate to ourselves and aligned to the best of our ability, and that's it. So I want to thank you so much for sharing your vision, and everybody tune in. Tune in to Shannon Speak Mother and give it a try and, just see what you resonate with. And Shannon would love to have your feedback. So thank you so much, Shannon.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Fran. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the podcast. And I want to thank my guest, Shannon Warner, who shared so beautifully her journey and how she's really feeling aligned with the work that she's doing in the world and how that supports other women. So tune in to her reinvented podcast, Speak Mother. It's on all the channels. You can also reach her through the show notes, through mostly Instagram, but she's on LinkedIn. And with any questions or if you think that you might be interested in podcasting, or your mom that feels like they want to really communicate with other women and feel supported and be in a community, I think that you'll find either Resonant Collective for podcasters or Speak Mother a beautiful fit for you. So I want to thank Shannon again, and I want to thank all my listeners and all my new listeners. I want to wish you all a very happy, healthy new year. And I really appreciate you tuning in. Share this episode with any mom or anyone that you think might be interested in podcasting or needs support, wants to be in community. And I just want to remind you, you can download my free gift from the show notes, or you can also go to my website. Everything is in the show notes to get your free gift of helping to calm any anxiety. And Lord knows we have a lot going on in the world right now. So again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.